Hey guys, my name's Sean, my co-host that you'll be hearing in a minute, Doc. We decided to start a podcast, so this is the first episode and we didn't do an intro, so this is the AnimePunchPodcast, hosted by us two, and this first episode we're going to be talking about some trigger shows, so enjoy. We can cut this, we can cut at the start at any time,
yeah.
So whatever useless banter we have now is fine.
Right.
So, hi.
The moment I wake up, I reach for my smiley face cup.
Wait, we started with the Vulture jingle?
Yep. That's the intro. Bo.
What? Why Vulture?
I don't know. Like, that was literally just the first song.
The first thing that comes to your mind, you're just like, I need to use a cup of Joe here.
My mind is weird like that.
Clearly.
What's up, y'all? We're doing our first little mini podcast type of, well, not mini podcast, but trial run.
Yeah. Talking about Trigger
shows.
Which one do you want to start with?
Let's start with Darling in the Franxx.
Okay.
Since, watch that one recently.
Although, interestingly enough, if I wanted to be like, clink my glasses up nerd about it, it's an A1 Pictures show with Trigger helping. So mainly A1 Pictures, but I hear Trigger's the one helping with a lot of the fight animation and stuff. So,
right.
But hopefully they keep them on track.
Yeah, I mean,
so far it's fun.
In terms of the animation, it definitely seems like Trigger.
Yeah. Although it's not as consistent as other Trigger shows. Which is obvious from its pairing with A1.
Right. So let me just point out the obvious thing about this show, which is just like...
What are you talking about? I don't understand.
Well, there's just so much sexual innuendo in it. And they don't hide it at all either. It's like...
There's no subtlety in this show.
It's just like,
literally none.
Go.
I mean that was one of the things about that recent episode 4 that was so good was he like confesses in love or whatever. And it shows them in the cockpit, pun intended, and what does he say? I feel so deep inside you right now.
Yeah. I feel so deep inside you. Yeah.
And she's like, yes, it feels so good.
Yeah,
like,
just like the... as he pulls his collar away from his neck.
Yeah. It's too heavy. It's too... But I don't mind it though. I think a lot. It's gonna be like it's gonna be one of those things that'll drive a lot of people away, just because it's kind of a very blunt thing. They're just
there's a lot of anime like that though too, which and a lot of them I enjoy, and like there's this other one called Dance in the Vampire Bund where it's like super, what's the word I'm looking for? Like when it's like
risque?
It's taboo, or risque,
Risque?
yes, risque.
You say risque because that's more classy.
Yeah. Yeah. But I enjoy some shows like that, even though it's kind of weird and it gives you that weird feeling. A little bit,
You're just like, I hope my mom doesn't walk in right now. It's like, luckily I don't have roommates because
like not just like anybody. If anybody will walk in and just at the wrong moment and be like, what the fuck are you watching?
That's why you don't have that on speakers, because then just loudly woof. But I think I like it in this one. I don't mind it in this one. Like in terms of like sexual content, like I think Kill la Kill handles it better.
Yeah.
But it's funny in this one.
Yeah.
I think like maybe if it's not like intentionally funny, like I can get over it because I think it's just hilarious. Because with no shame whatsoever, no blushed faces or anything. It's just like, how was that for you?
Right.
I'm like, well,
Yeah. It shows like
you're not hiding it.
Just and like the biggest one, the biggest innuendo or whatever that I saw in it is like they're when they're actually driving like their vehicles, like the guy has his arms out in front, and then she's like in the doggy style position, like leaning forward. Like, how does that make sense? Like. That does not make sense for them to be operating a robot like this, But
the butt handles.
Yeah.
Do you need more? Makes sense to me.
Right.
It is now all I think about. all my fantasies. But I don't mind it. I think the show's pretty good so far.
Yeah. I definitely like the show. It's really funny. A lot of funny moments. Good dialogue most of the time.
Yeah, I think. Well, here, let me start with this. I'm gonna say the one thing I don't like so far. The one semi-bigger thing is, the side characters still need to be fleshed out. Obviously, it's only 4 or 5 episodes in, so that's fine. But maybe it's just because I'm a fat guy too, even though I'm not super self-conscious about it. But like that whole like I'm a fat guy, I'm just gonna eat constantly gag is weird, especially when there's like no context or characterization with it. It's, right. I don't know, like I laughed at it once because there was one time where like he just like. It was maybe there's like a buffet table or something, and he was just like, right, and it just like piled up in his arms. Right. So like that was a little funny, but that character is literally nothing except like an eater of bread. Right. That's like his like character bio. I like bread. Right. And that's it.
Yeah, they do have to. They don't get into the side characters, and that's one of those types of things where they might not ever,
right? Like, which then would become a downfall of the show. But right. But we have a 2-core show. Depends on the show, right? I suppose. But yeah, we have 24 episodes to get into it.
Right. So. Yeah. Some shows don't need it.
Right. And there's a difference between like needing to get into and like flesh out and deepen your characters, and then just letting them be like fun. Right. I'm perfectly okay with just like this guy is a blast. He's just like all spectacle. Like I don't need like a deep backstory on why he's like an edgy edgy douchebag.
Like
just let him be exciting.
The one episode like little story of his life where he
yeah, it's all in grayscale. And he's a little kid walking around. Yeah. Mama.
Some like ridiculous like event that happened like early in life or something.
Yeah, like that's not needed all the time, but something is needed. Yeah, but to be fair, we've gotten a little bit of characterization, like character building, with a few of them. Because like, you have Ichigo, the blue-haired chick who likes Hiro, who's like his childhood friend or whatever. Because she's gotten the most character development out of all the side characters. I suppose that's kind of obvious because she's like the love triangle insert. Good job, Kat. Distract us at our finest hour.
Got a little cat bag.
I'm not going to call it doggy bags anymore. That's good. That's good. Do-do-do. There you go. It's good. It's good. But the where was I going with that?
We could cut that out as necessary.
Where was I going with that? Ichigo, decent. She's decent so far. We'll see how they build her out. Because if she stays as just like the like, I love you but I can't have you character, then it'll just get annoying and dramatic. Yeah. But hopefully they don't stick to that.
It already kind of has that kind of like feel to it,
yeah.
like it's gonna end up being that way.
But they haven't force fed it like every episode like real hard.
Yeah.
So like you can get in like some love, like romance type shows, but I suppose we'll see how it goes from here.
Right.
But
or maybe there's the because it's definitely a triangle, love triangle between all the.
There's just in episode 602 is just like, come on, this is a 2-seater, baby.
Right.
Pew pew pew. And then all of our fantasies come true.
Your fantasy.
Hey, don't judge me, okay? I have my needs.
I don't judge, ma'am.
Bullshit. But it's good. And the other characters are fine. I like her partner, Ichigo's partner.
Yeah.
I'm bad with the Japanese names, so I'm lucky I remember any of them. But,
yeah.
But
it takes me a while to remember all the names.
Yeah, they have to be a main character or something, and then it has to be a fresh show, because even my favorite shows, I don't fucking remember anybody's name.
Yeah.
But her partner's a cool guy. I like him, because even with what little screen time he's had, they've shown him to have like a few different characteristics and just be like kind of a swell dude.
Yeah.
So even if he doesn't receive a lot of characterization, he might not need to.
Right.
But I like it so far. I think there's a lot of potential for this show.
Right.
Because it seems to have this this like feeling of, it seems to be setting up like this deeper meaning behind everything. Just like Kill la Kill and Gurren Lagann did.
Right.
Where it has like that thread of having, it's not so surface level,
Right.
Because a lot of people are like hating the show or criticizing it because of either the bold sexual choices, or they're calling the show a very heterosexual show. And I think that's wrong. I think that's thinking too small when you're watching the show. Yeah. Because at extremely face value, it's heterosexual is the only way to go. That's what powers the robot. Yippity scooter day.
Yeah.
But with like the feeling you get, like the ominous feeling that this place isn't like, it's not cool.
Yeah.
Because like the I mean, if you think about it, a bunch of adults, air quote adults, are like not even in that base. They're all holograms.
Right, yeah.
But they're having a bunch of teenagers have sex to fight evil things for us.
Right.
So, and they even said in that first episode, you're nobly going to die for us, or something like that.
Right.
So it's clearly not like glorifying its stance. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think the show has at all like glorified the position these guys are in.
Right.
It's just like thrown us the setting, given a little like ominous like bits and pieces to like wonder what's actually going on.
Right.
And then I would hope if it executes itself well, then there's a lot of ways it could go to like branch off and like attack or inform that narrative it's set in right now. Because I think I was talking to you about this a couple weeks ago when we were watching the episode, but the way it's set up, it seems like the society, and the whole thing is like a kind of like a representation of like traditionalism.
Right.
Remember us talking about this?
Yes, yeah.
I remember that. And like, I don't have much more to go on about that, but it seems like it's putting us in this society that has this traditional mindset. At least if you compare it to us, it is kind of traditional,
Right.
in the heterosexual way, and
right.
Even you were saying something about like sex position way too, which you can get into,
right?
But everything is set up and like this is the way it is. This is the way it's always been, and this is the best way. So I'm hoping that it like successfully like arcs through and shows you maybe it's not, maybe you should be a little more open-minded.
Right.
That's why I was kind of hoping that 02 was going to be on top, because that would have been a lot of fun. that would have like flipped it on its head. Yeah.
That would be a perfect mid-season thing to do. Right in the middle of the season, it's just like boom. It works better this way.
They just have to switch up positions. Because I think I was on Mal, my anime list, and there's a forum post on there that was like, what would you do if Darling suddenly turned gay? Like, introduced a gay couple. And there's like people like, oh yeah, I drop it because like goes against like the hetero thing it's set up, and it would make no sense. And I'm like, really? Have you been watching the same show?
Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think if it turned gay? It just like,
I don't know.
You could think really. maybe throw out the best or worst possibilities of them introducing said characters.
It really depends on how they do it.
True.
It really depends a lot on that for me. I really don't know how. I mean, I would definitely, it would weird me out at first. I would be like, and not weirded out, but I would always have this slight sense of like, oh, this is unusual. Like,
really.
Yeah. Because you don't ever see that kind of stuff really, on, regular media, like
right. Yeah. And it's like, pretty rare in anime unless it's specifically like what, Yuri and Yaoi, like it's a specifically gay thing,
right. So I mean, my my position on that issue already is one of like, it doesn't matter. You love me,
open-mindedness,
all that kind of thing. So I mean, but how I think on the actual issue, personally, I don't think that'll have the biggest impact on whether or not I think it would be weird in the show.
Right. But you're right. It does depend on how they do it. Like if it's trashy and fan service, then it's shit. That sucks.
Right.
But at least maybe we can like just gloss over it. We don't have to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's trying to like force this like weird like agenda down our throat, then it might be weird.
Yes.
But it would be pretty bold to do that. To like very assertively be like, gays are better kind of agenda.
Right.
So like the what would make most sense to me, and maybe I'm just optimistic about it, is that it would be introduced as that to combat the traditionalism that the show has like teed up at the beginning, to be like, this isn't the only way.
Right.
But we'll see.
We'll see if they go that route.
Yeah. But I like the feeling of like connection, like that the show is trying to show. Like the meaning behind the show is like finding value in finding a true connection.
Right.
That's why him and Ichigo don't work, because it was forced.
Right.
So as long as they explore that topic or like and do it just any bit of justice, this is going to end up being a good show.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's one of the best of the season so far. So
yeah.
Although this is a fucking stacked. This is a real good season.
Yeah.
So many.
We have yet to see because there's a bunch of shows this season that have, high risk of being overhyped. Like it was overhyped and it's because it's supposed to be so good. And it ends up not being good.
Right.
Something is gonna be that way. One of the shows.
Yeah,
is
one of them.
At least one of them is. So.
Which because the biggest ones are all the sequels.
Yeah.
And then Darling. So we'll see. We'll see how many of them actually live up to the hype.
Right.
But so far,
Darling I can
good.
think of is I don't know, actually Attack on Titan. Not to say that it wasn't good, but because it was really good, but
it did not live up to the 4-year hype.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not as good as it was
taken down by the hot machine.
Yeah. So let's move on. Let's go to the next one. So I just finished watching Little Witch Academia.
Yes. Give me your thoughts.
Man, it's so good. It is really good.
Wait, question. Did you watch the short and movie too?
Oh, no, I did not watch the short.
Okay, interesting.
Just the show.
So you didn't get the same pretense that everyone else did coming into the show,
right.
which I like that.
Yeah, no, I just watched the show.
Go ahead. What do you think?
It's really good. I mean, it has so many qualities of so many other type things I like. The fact that it has to do with magic and stuff like that already sold me.
Right.
And I've seen a lot of that stuff in anime, but they never do magic like they do it in this one.
Right, yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, finally they're doing it this way, in that Harry Potter-esque kind
of. Yeah, in the kind of wonder way.
Yes.
It shows you the wonderment of it rather than just
oh, this is destructive. Ooh, this is crazy magic.
It's like cast these 3 circles and fire comes out, and that's a thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one does it well, and the visuals are part of that, I think.
Right.
But yeah, go ahead.
Definitely. That's a huge thing.
I think I think after Harry Potter, I think magic's an easy in for anybody now.
Yeah.
I feel like no matter what, wherever you're at, you if it's magic, it's just all right, I'm interested.
One thing about it having almost all female characters, that's another thing that's pretty cool. That makes a statement. Not a statement per se, but a message, if you will.
Right.
Kind of sends a message. And it's really cool.
Yeah,
you almost don't even notice. I almost didn't even notice at first.
But I think, and it does it in a way different than a lot of anime, because there are a lot of anime that's all female cast.
Yeah.
But that's not a tasteful decision. It's a 14-year-old boys like cute girls decision.
Right.
It's not the same way where this show is a little more tasteful with it.
Right. Yes.
Where there's actually males in the universe.
Yeah.
The male gender does exist.
Yeah, right.
Which that contrast of how studious and closed-minded most of the males were interesting. Yeah. That it almost perfectly divided off as males being these closed-minded corporate or governmental jerks,
right?
But then you have all the females who are witches and who are open-minded and work hard and
right.
That was interesting.
I'm glad you brought that up because that was the next thing that I was going to mention. Is the love interest.
Yeah.
It's way more realistic.
Think so? Yeah.
Yes, way more how that relationship between them seemed a little a lot more real.
Yeah.
It starts off so casual, and there's no way that these guys are going to beat it. It's not immediately obvious that he's the love interest,
Yeah.
And then it grows. It's something that grows as the show goes along. And
I agree with you. I really like how that love interest goes because it's not hammy. like most anime are, or most, well, really all media is pretty hammy on its like romance, but yeah, like I think their last interaction is like them just like chatting and laughing on a bench, you know, and it's just like where it's like super casual, where like each they've interacted like 4 or 5 times throughout the show,
right?
They've had like conversations or like meets for 4 different times. And each time is slightly different.
Yeah.
Which is
there's
fascinating.
a little bit more.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more each time. Or there's a little bit more of that, like,
Right. There's a little more
subtle.
angst, or
it's usually pretty subtle too.
And they grow more comfortable each time they like meet.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty good, which kind of correlates to how like she kind of helps open his eyes a little more to the whole magic thing, which then affects it at the end.
Yeah. What really solidified, the point that he was a love interest was when he started thinking about her when they're not around. So, like there are episodes where, like when when he grabs her hat, she leaves her hat behind or whatever, and he has the hat, talking with his buddy about what he's going to do with the hat, and like that kind of interaction, that kind of stuff is like, okay, he's the love interest now, he's interested now, but that was really cool. Man, the fact that here's something that's really obvious about the show that I knew, and I think this is intentional, but I mean, it's obviously intentional later on in the show, but it's super intentional right at the beginning that that Professor Ursula is Shiny Chariot.
Right, yeah. They don't hide that at all.
They don't hide that at all, And at first, it kind of like seemed like maybe they were trying to hide it, but it was
the fact that it was
obvious.
So kind of obvious that you're just like,
maybe it was so obvious. I was like, maybe they did,
I don't. Yeah, I think they didn't even bother because there wouldn't have been a point to hiding it from us. Yeah, especially because it was like it would have kind of been obvious in the first place that she is Shiny Chariot.
Just there, like it does make it pretty obvious because they're like.
Even without giving like the glances to her eyes or how her hair like occasionally like shines and even without those really obvious ones.
Right. Well, I guess that's my point too. Is that the eye thing doesn't show up until later in the show. So why is that? Why didn't they do that right at the beginning if they were making it obvious?
Well, they did, didn't they? I guess I don't quite recall.
I think the
seeing
first
her
time
eyes that often.
The first time you see her eyes close and red, is like midway,
with that like iconic design
season.
That her eyes do.
Yeah,
like a star or something.
Yeah, that's midway or at least a little later in the first season. I want to say the first time that you actually see through her glasses.
Interesting.
I may be wrong, but that's.
I mean,
that's the first time that I
suppose maybe. Yeah, because it's obviously not in episode 1 that they're just like, hey guys, everyone but Akko knows this is Shiny Chariot.
Yeah.
But yeah, they definitely don't shy away from it. Like, I don't think they try to make it a mystery because there's no point. But the fact that I think it might help that it's Shiny Chariot because it's kind of interesting to see how they portray her around Akko because, whenever she's acting like Ursula, if you notice, like her glasses won't be see-through.
Yeah.
It'll be that you won't be able to actually see her eyes when she's acting like Ursula.
Right.
But when she's trying to be a mentor or like be like Shiny Chariot, then
it flashes over.
It flashes over her eyes and it like reveals her true self.
Yeah.
Like so it
and you got to remember that Akko doesn't see this. She doesn't see the changes like that. Like we do,
But it's for us. It's a way to portray her to us when she's being truthful, and or not. When she's actually being herself, aka Chariot,
right?
Or if she's playing her Ursula character,
yeah.
Which is interesting. That's just good animation, good directing.
Yeah.
Which
like,
the show has a lot of.
The relationships between her and her friends and her and Professor Ursula, just fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think I remember, like, almost tearing up a couple times. I can't remember exactly what, but there was a time where I was just like, oh, it's touching. Yeah, I thought that just overall, really great show.
Yeah,
really great show.
It's good. It's, and you've got like the clear distinction of a Trigger anime.
Yeah.
Because its animation is
yeah.
So it's beautiful. Beautiful. Right. It definitely has, it probably has the most consistent animation other than Kill la Kill of all the Trigger shows.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Kill la Kill is its own category in that respect, but it has like wherein there's some points of Gurren Lagann where it's just like oddly low animation, but like this one it just like stays fucking spectacular.
Right.
Like I think there's only a couple scenes that you could maybe be like some critic and nitpick about, but it's beautiful through and through, and like the magic looks fantastic. Every like cut and like big like Sakuga moment, like the ending, where they're like chasing the rocket is whew,
it's pretty cool.
It's fun. Like that. Yeah. That is like an epic fucking finish if there ever was one.
Where their brooms connect together and it's like a big old rocket.
Yeah, and then they just
stages
like,
to the rocket.
they just like pat off
cool.
and every time, and then after that, then like the whole fight with the rocket like splitting and exploding and you don't get much better than that.
Well, I thought that was okay. So they were really sparing in those moments, in the show, Kill la Kill is the opposite, where it's like every, it's in your face the whole time, just like boom, boom, boom. And this one, it's a little bit more subtle, and it's not until like the very end that you see like these grand,
right,
moments.
Yeah, because it's not trying to be a grand,
right?
Because it's all about it's, and they kind of tell it. They kind of explicitly tell it in that second half when Akko's like looking for the words that it's a journey thing. It's one of those typical like it's the journey not the destination type thing. So, it's which I think that's fine. I don't think the show needed more giant set pieces to be like amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing.
Yeah, because even the smaller moments were still pretty great.
Yeah,
and you got enough like real big beautiful moments.
And finding out the big reveal at the end, like because that it's Shiny Chariot the whole time, that Professor Ursula's Shiny Chariot the whole time, but you don't know why she disappeared. What is that secret that she has? That's so. What did you do? What happened?
Right. Why did she leave? Yeah.
Yeah, and then you find out that's like the big deal of the show. Like,
right.
It was, that was the climax of the show, was finding out that. So,
that the person she looked up to wasn't all
I think
she
that
was
might
cut
have
out
been,
to be.
That might have been the part where I almost teared up.
Yeah. When she found out, because that's a pretty heartbreaking moment.
Yeah.
Literally a heartbreaking moment.
Because it's like, you think, okay, how is she going to react? She's either going to be, okay, so I thought that she was just going to be like, it's okay,
Oh, yeah,
Shiny Chariot, I mean.
Yeah, like just real altruistic, just like, oh, you're fine.
Because she, she was that deep. She's that deep into Shiny Chariot that it's like nothing that she could do could ever hurt you like that.
Right.
So I was kind of expecting that at first, where I was like, I don't know, maybe she'll be okay with that. And then she was just like, you're joking, right? And I'm like, oh no.
Right, yeah. And she like gets that heartbreak and you're like, oh dear God. Yeah, which I think makes Akko a deeper character because if she just shrugged it off, then she would just be like this
one-dimensional,
chariot,
always
like,
shiny chariot, super positive.
Yeah,
that's like
But she saw her idol like crash down in front of her, and she just and like when the whole show is when her whole identity, so to speak, is I want to be like Shiny Chariot, and then it's just when you meet your idol, and they never live up to your expectations, and like that kind of that hurts.
That could be a huge message. I think that maybe is one of the biggest messages of the show is like everybody has their idol, that they would want to meet, and everybody says all the time that when you meet that idol, they're never as cool as you thought.
Right.
If you get to know them,
because they're human beings too. Like they're not as perfect as we like imagine. We romanticize them because we're a fan of whatever they do, but they're just a normal person too. Yeah. Which, and that point segues into the other big point of the show is just like to be yourself and to enjoy and do what you do and enjoy it. Right. Because she wants to do magic because she thinks it'd be fun, which interestingly enough, I didn't actually know this until I read about it a little bit. Is that apparently the whole show is like a kind of a love letter to anime? Have you heard about that?
No, I haven't heard about that.
Because I'd have to like look up the specifics of like what the references were, but like it's all about it's like a love letter to anime. It's like because her watching Shiny Chariot be like this real cool showing magician, and then wanting to be a witch too, kind of exactly like correlates to you watching an anime and loving it so much that you want to create anime, right?
Oh yeah.
And how that happens to almost everybody. You want to. You listen to a musician and you're like, I want to do that. That seems fun, Right. And so this was like a love letter to like the creation of animation,
right?
Because like the 7 or was it 7 or 6? The witches, the old witches.
I thought they're 9.
9, yeah. That's apparently expressly like related to some 9 old anime people.
Oh.
I'd have to look it up
for
specifics. But yeah, there's a lot of references like that are specifically, like, if you dig for them, that show that the whole thing is like, guys, we just like anime,
Right.
Even if the industry itself is kind of rubbish, like, we create anime because we love it,
right.
And that is who we are.
Yeah. Which
is her whole journey, and which makes that show even more.
Yeah. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
I never really get the opportunity to think in depth about, the messages that the animators and the writers of the show are thinking,
right.
Like the messages that they're trying to send, because you have to watch it multiple times and stuff like that. And there are some where I have theories like that, and I don't read a lot of stuff online, in terms of what people are saying about anime. Like my anime list, I started that years ago, and that like you already knew, I never did anything with it. Put like a few shows on, and then never touched it again until you were like, "Hey, you should get back on there."
I think I've passed you in shows just because you're never on.
Yeah.
So I'm officially a better anime weeb than you are.
Didn't I get you in I got you into anime watching.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't even watch anime.
And I have surpassed you already.
Perhaps you have.
I shall become a god one day.
So, Gurren Lagann. I actually went back and watched a few episodes of that.
Subtle transition. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we both rewatched it in the last couple weeks.
I didn't watch the whole thing, just like...
Oh, really?
Yeah, just like maybe the first or 9 episodes.
So do you
just to get refreshed?
So to quickly get it out of the way, do you remember episode 4? Because that's like when I was talking about animation consistency.
Yeah,
that's the main one that is like.
Right.
It's like Gurren Lagann's like redheaded stepchild. You're like, just pretend it didn't happen, okay? Right. Like when I was rewatching that, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
How did I not notice this the first time I watched this show? Because it was like, it was odd. Like that episode must have just been like in a rough like time for that studio, because it like it was clearly kind of haphazardly thrown together. Yeah, like seemed like maybe something happened. Yeah, which is common in the industry, I hear, which is unfortunate. But. Yeah, because I mean, a lot of this stuff is, there's so much diversity when it comes to budget and stuff like that, but we still like everybody still watches them. It's like it's kind of weird because the people that watch anime are not and this is I don't know this for sure. I don't have any facts to back this up, but it would seem like most anime watchers, love anime so much that they're less or they're more open to all different kinds of shows, so they watch more of the entire, spectrum of shows that you can watch. Yeah. It's not like, people who watch sitcoms or whatever, they only watch like these sitcoms. Yeah. And it's not like that with anime. Most people are like really into anime, so they watch all of it. They watch as much as they possibly can. So you don't get as much of people who are just like literally just slice of lifers, or like I only watch shonen. Right. Shonen's probably one of the only ones that have a particular fan base. Just because Shonen's like that big, easy like popcorn stuff. Even if it's really good, you can put it in the popcorn category because it's always fun to watch. Right. Whereas in other things, other genres need some kind of style or meat to like actually like give you sustenance in terms of anime, But I get what you mean. Yeah, but I mean, maybe that's not true. That's probably not true for people actually, the actual Japanese viewers. I bet, Japanese viewers probably have, maybe particular shows or because more people over there probably watch anime than people over here watch it. Obviously. But. For sure, yeah. I think it's steadily growing, but it's still mainly a Japanese thing. Yeah. Because and like I think I recently saw something about the Trigger director who explicitly states, even though Trigger has out of almost every other studio, they have a lot of Western influences. They like to draw inspiration from Western culture, right? Or media, but they still they don't fucking care about us. Like they create specifically for the Japanese people, right? Because apparently we're like the West is still like this untamed market, which is weird and fluctuating. Yeah, and I mean it's hard to pinpoint, so you can't really make something for them when you go. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. There's no clear road for that. Yeah, there's no market. There is no stable market over here for it. So. Yeah, which it's getting there, but it's still gonna take some time. Yeah. Did I ever tell you the one time that I was I was loading at UPS and there's just this stream of anime boxes that came by. Like I forgot what the name of the company was, but it was just like so and so anime, and it was like a straight shot of like 10 of them, 10 or 15 of them. 10 or 15 of them. Did one of them accidentally crack open? No. No, but... So you just have a bunch of, body pillows that are... Yeah. Right. But, yeah, Gurren Lagann, I guess I really don't have a whole lot to say about that one,
I thought it was pretty good, but it's my least favorite of the Trigger shows that I've watched.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
I didn't know that. Although you haven't seen all of them.
No.
Because I know there's the smaller ones and the less shonen ones that are...
Yeah.
That... The less shonen-like ones that you have not seen.
So, I mean, okay,
but that's interesting.
The ones I've seen are...
I suppose I get that.
Franks, Little Witch, Kill la Kill...
And Gurren.
And
Those
Gurren.
four.
Yeah, those four.
Yeah, there's only two others that I've seen that I'm not surprised you haven't seen because they're not immediately up your alley, even though I'm willing to bet you'd be open-minded enough to try them.
Right.
But their styles are a little different.
Yeah. I almost don't want to talk about this one just because I probably have more negative things to say about it than positive, but that's only because...
No, be negative. Be negative. I have some positive things to say because I actually have a lot of notes on its themes.
Yeah.
Which I think is what Gurren Lagann does best.
Right.
It's adherence to one theme and to sell it so damn near perfectly.
Right.
Whether everything else around it is perfect is debatable, of course, but
right.
But no, you can start off with some movies.
It is definitely really good, but I don't know the whole his. And there's another one where I forget their character names, but the main character, and then the older brother.
Oh, really Simon. Simone and Kamina.
Yeah.
Kamina.
Simone and Kamina. So Kamina is the brother, right?
Yeah, Kamina is the bombastic guy with the glasses.
Right.
Yeah.
So their relationship was always kind of weird to me. I don't know, for some reason.
Really?
I don't know why. Just because
I
think it was just...
I think they're the best part of the show.
I mean, no, how they set up their relationship, I guess, or whatever. The first episode, I remember in particular that, it's just oh, call me bro, and he's just but we're not related. And he's just call me bro, we don't have to be related.
Yeah.
And I'm just didn't get that.
I mean, it fits his bombastic personality, I suppose. And then when you get through to episode 8, I think it is 8 or 9, and it shows you why it completely shows you why Kamina was connected to Simone.
Right.
Do you remember the point I'm talking about?
Not sure if I remember that part.
So this is after his death.
Yeah.
Spoilers. And one of the main Beastmen put them in jail, after the whole crew's given up on Simone. He's found Nia.
Yeah.
So the whole crew's given up on Simone, and when they're all in jail with Simone, they're all trying to dig themselves out, but
right.
this rock's super hard, so they all their fingers are bleeding. It's not
right.
doing anything. But you've got Simone in the back, just slowly working with his little drill.
Yeah, his little mini drill.
Not nonstop.
Yeah.
His that perseverance he has.
Yeah.
Completely, and it even explicitly tells you that is why Kamina was who he was, is because he could rely on Simone's perseverance,
right.
that he would constantly be drilling,
Yeah.
His spiral is never ending,
right.
It constantly moves forward.
Yeah.
Even without him realizing it, he doesn't give up. Which is
that is a pretty cool.
Which the moment they all turn and they hear the and they're all watching Simone's back, that part gets me a little bit. I'm that's good. That's good. Because I love Simone's character. Simone is me.
Is you,
Yeah.
or you relate to
even if like a better version of me, clearly. But by the end of the show, come on, I'm not in a super galaxy mech,
right?
You know. But yeah, like he's the one. He's the one. Like in face value terms, at least, like Kamen is the one you like aspire to be. Simone is who you are, right? Yeah. That's how I feel like that's how most people watch the show,
right?
Assuming you're not just like, hey, Yoko's fucking awesome,
yeah,
you know, which I suppose a lot of women probably do, but but yeah, that's kind of how you see it. That's why there's so much love for Kamina. It's just because he's this like this bombastic, like let's shoot for the stars guy, and you're just like, fuck yeah,
right?
That like that's an easy thing to grab onto. Yeah, that's why he's so iconic, and like therefore the show is so iconic. You know, like it and Kill la Kill are like going to be in like anime history.
Oh yeah,
like without a doubt. In 20 years, those two shows are going to be the Evangelion shows,
right?
The really big ones that everybody knows, and that are always going to be named in the anime. It's like we'll always be referencing back to them, you know.
I definitely think that about
Kill la Kill for sure, but I definitely think Gurren Lagann is too.
Yeah,
I think even because I don't think you're wrong. I think Kill la Kill is definitely better, and Little Witch might be better. I suppose that's what you're looking for,
right?
Whether which
your
one's better,
personal taste,
yeah. So like Kill la Kill is definitely, but I think Gurren Lagann definitely will be because it came out in like 2007, so it's already kind of in that spot where we're just like, remember how great Gurren Lagann was,
right?
So it's already something like the reason Trigger is so popular right now is because of Gurren Lagann. It's because Gainax made Gurren Lagann. They split off to form Trigger, and then they made Kill la Kill. And then it's like, hey, these are the guys who made Gurren Lagann.
Yeah.
And so now that director, animator combo, the specific people behind those shows are like legendary now.
Right.
So, which is,
yeah. I guess I didn't even know that Gurren Lagann was the oldest of all those shows.
Technically, Gurren Lagann is a Gainax show. Technically. It's the same director and animator or whatever the other main guy is that Kill la Kill has.
Right. Under different.
Yeah, because most of Gainax broke off and created Trigger. That's why they're considered a Trigger show still.
Right.
But yeah, Gurren Lagann was the first.
Yeah.
Because Kill la Kill was 2012?
Yeah.
Ish?
Something like that.
I think.
Maybe a little later.
Maybe. But, well, here, I these notes I actually do want to reference on Gurren Lagann. Unless you have any other negative things to say. God, this show is shit.
No. Like I said, it was a good show. It just happened to be my least favorite of the four.
Yeah. The one thing I will say, I think it's got the worst. I'll say something negative. I think it's got the worst soundtrack, like OST.
Yeah,
by far. By far.
That's something that we didn't talk about on the other shows, which I'm surprised I didn't talk about. Cause
Darling doesn't. I mean, it's still early, and so nothing's really standing out too much of Darling yet.
Nothing's really stuck in yet.
But even rewatching Gurren Lagann, like there's almost nothing that stands out. There's like one big set piece song that gets played. I don't remember what you call that kind of song. Insert song is what you call it. That they usually insert at a particularly intense moment.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you've got the iconic rap, You Got the Power.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Which those two are great. I fucking love both of them. I like them in the show, but overall, it's got the weakest OST.
Right.
Where Little Witch was pretty good.
Little Witch was really good.
Yeah, Little Witch It's one of the reasons it sells like that, and its visuals are like the main reason it sells its like witch magic environment so well.
Yeah,
it like
you got to have good music to do magic.
Yeah, and it fits so perfectly throughout the whole show. It's so good. Like the Crunchyroll's doing its anime awards right now, and there's obviously the best OST of the year award, and you haven't watched it yet, I don't think, but Made in the Abyss is gonna win OST.
Made in the Abyss.
Yeah, it's 100% gonna win best OST of the year.
I watched the first 2 episodes now.
Oh, so you remember the end of the first episode?
Yeah.
Where it pans down on the hole and it does that effervescent song?
Yes.
That OST is gonna win.
Oh, okay.
100%. No, people have been fucking freaking out about that ever since the show came out. Yeah. Which is a great OST. That insert song is fantastic. It sets the atmosphere brilliantly.
Right.
So it deserves to win, but Little Witch has that fun, frantic, phonetic atmosphere that you just that's just fun. You love to listen to because it fits the show perfectly, and a lot of it's just upbeat and just
upbeat, Andante, kind of skipping along,
Yeah. Yeah. So, and a couple of its insert songs are pretty fucking good. I don't know the name of the main one, but it's right. Good. It's good.
And Kill la Kill's
is really legendary. I didn't even realize it, but looking back on it, and then I even looked into it a little bit, they went all out for that fucking show, man. They did not spare an expense.
Right.
Because it's
pretty high budget.
Yeah, it must have been. Or maybe not particularly high budget. They just knew exactly what they wanted to do.
Right. And
you can tell that by its animation, by its writing, by its and by its music choice, because everything is very well tuned. This is when you have they made a character, they know their backstory, they know who what makes up this character, and most pretty much every character has a theme song, has their theme song that will be played in the show. So right. And if you actually go listen to each one, you're that that's him, and the main one, which is the main insert song, which is are the main characters, is fucking spot on. It's right. It's the I Found a Way, or is that how it goes? You know what I'm talking about? Can you think of it? Yeah, we'd have to play it.
Yeah,
but it's that main one is it's because Kill la Kill has that it kind of has that rock punk sound.
Yeah,
it's just
it has that attitude.
Yeah,
throughout the whole show.
Yeah,
and that's why that one is definitely my favorite out of all those different shows. Obviously.
Oh, for sure. I us and most people could gush about that show for ages. So before we move on to that one, because it's clearly the best one, and then I'll quickly touch on the 2 ones you haven't seen.
Yeah.
But they don't matter too much.
You got a couple more points.
I have Girl. Yeah. So there's something I want to talk about with Girl Lagann. So I mean, obviously the whole drill power, because like I said, Gurren Lagann best point is how it sticks to one theme and fleshes it out almost perfectly.
Yeah.
Everything in that show has pretty much has a purpose towards fleshing out that one point.
Right.
Which is the drill power. Is spiral power is drill, which represents humanity's willpower. You know, always our drive to move forward, our drive to evolve. Which that's the words they use in show a lot, is evolution.
Right.
Which is a main point. Which is it's just true. Humanity even now, we're just constantly evolving.
Right.
And it's just in the show, it's kind of hyperbolized to for emphasis, obviously. So
yeah.
because they in 7 years they have flying cars and shit,
and then this advanced civilization.
And they just like it's so utterly bombastic, and that's what's great about most trigger shows. Like they just sell like they're really good at selling big,
right?
like we'll just do it as big as possible. That way, no one can ever top us,
right?
Because can you really get bigger than a super galaxy Gurren Lagann?
Right.
I don't think so. So I had this thought with the characters, which you can let me know what you think. But I think what it does good is I think each character has a specific purpose in that narrative, and like a very very clear like 1-to-1 ratio. So like I just have like six of their names, I think.
Right.
So Kamina is just inspiration.
Right.
And this is like to relate to real world. Like how you and me would drive forward to the goals we set for ourselves.
Right.
Because at the end of the show it even like Simon is like, that's the goals you have. That's not my goal. I do what I want, you know? Because like the whole point is to drive forward to the future that you want, that you set for yourself, not what other people set for you. So, Kamina is the inspiration, the much needed inspiration that we all need, you know. He's just that embodiment of like blind inspiration, just like whether it's to create anime, you know, because you saw an anime you really like, you know. Right. So it's just that like vague representation of whatever happens to inspire you, whether it be a creator or a thought or a person, like which makes sense because he's like that blind inspiration because and they characterize him as such because he's brash and reckless and nonsensical. He's just like, let's fucking shoot for the stars, baby.
Right.
Because if you think like the moment you have that inspiration, that's where your head goes.
Right.
Like you're not, I want to create an anime just because I want to have this shitty cartoon on my computer that no one ever sees. Like I want to make a show that touches people's hearts, man.
Yeah.
I want to get my points across, you know. So he's like the inspiration.
Right.
He's our inspiration to move forward.
Right.
Simon. So spiral power, like we said, is evolution. It's just that's the clear parallel. Right. Spiral power represents evolution. It's just our constant advancement.
Right.
Simone, which sells in that 8th or 9th episode, is the embodiment of perseverance.
Right.
It's
never
just
giving up.
Right. It's just and they kind of work off each other because the reason he has that perseverance is because he has the inspiration to be like Kamina, you know,
right?
Because he wants to be like Kamina, and that's what his inspiration is, and throughout the show, Kamina's inspiration is what keeps the whole cast going.
Yeah.
Because whether he's there or not, his inspiration stays.
Yeah, like every single other person in their clan and stuff like that has always been, you know, or every single other like main character has had a time where they're just like, it's done, it's over, we can't, you know, and he's always been the one to be, you know, like, no, we can't.
And so later on, someone always fills in that voice. So they'll still be like, someone will say, oh, I don't know. Be like, that's not how Kamina would do it.
Right.
And that's just the show's way of like saying the inspiration never dies, you know.
Right.
Like they still have that inspiration. They still have that thought that they can reach for the stars as long as they like actually try, you know. As long as they don't give up, which is a lot of the other things.
Right.
So, if you remember the second half where they get a little political, Rasu becomes a dick.
Yeah.
So in that part, you have Rasu who sells Simone out, and unwittingly leads all that population down a path of destruction.
Right.
Because all of his choices are made to out of fear. So first off, before we get to that, at that point, the population of Earth in that city and all that, I think that they have a representation too. It's they kind of represent contentment and stagnation, because they get to a point where that whole society hasn't moved forward,
right?
Or they've grown comfortable enough to be able to just live. So a lot of them don't have that, aren't pushing forward anymore. So that's why I think that's why in the show they get so antsy about Simone, hey, you destroyed my home.
Right.
Even though you saved us all from assured destruction.
Yeah.
My home, is destroyed now. And so I'm angry at you, I guess. Which is absurd, but I think that's kind of them just being too content and with the life they have. So
right.
Any disruption to that is bad. Then you have Rasu and the anti-spiral at the end, which I think represents kind of the despair, which they specifically say they want them to despair, to be filled with despair.
Right.
But it's because they kind of represent making your choices out of fear. So instead of driving for the future you want, you make compromise, or you give up,
right? Because
you don't want to die, or you don't want to fail. So that fear or that despair from possible failure is why Rasu fails,
right?
Outright. Even though the show acknowledges that a middle ground between Kamina and Rasu, Rasu's extreme despair route, is what you want. You do need a little compromise. You can't be blind about it.
Right.
You can't be blind and reckless about it, but you can't live in fear. You have to move forward without letting fear get to you. Because that's why there's a lot of why we don't do what we want to do. Because oh man, what if it doesn't work out?
Right.
Where'd I go? And then Nia, I love Nia. Nia's best girl for sure.
Yeah.
So I think Nia's actually two things. The first half, Nia's a fresh perspective.
Yeah.
And this is, so whenever you're shooting for the stars, whatever your dream is to do, you can get discouraged a lot, due to whatever unforeseen circumstance comes along, like your best friend dying.
Yeah.
That can discourage you, make you lose your way. And in that very clear parallel where Simon loses his way, Nia represents that fresh perspective to him and the whole crew that are all lost down the wrong path because they don't know what to do.
Right.
Where she's like, guys, he's just some other guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be here for you to achieve your dreams, to
right.
get your goals, She's that fresh perspective that they all need, but especially Simon needs to get out of his funk, which is why everyone loves her so much.
Right.
And then the second half, it's a little more cheesy or clear cut.
Yeah.
It's just because she's just used for the love, for the love factor. Like the power of love is as much motivation as any, or as enough inspiration as any to fucking go forward full throttle, you know?
Right.
So, I don't know. I think that's interesting. I think that's interesting because every character and every like setting, and every use of the drill motif, like fits in that motif of driving forward.
Right.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
That was long-winded,
cool.
though.
Yeah,
sorry.
that was. I definitely did not go in as deep as you did on that show.
I had that thought for a couple of the characters. I'm just like, oh shit, this makes sense.
Right.
I don't know. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, you definitely dug pretty deep on that one, probably more than the other ones too. But yeah, great show yet again. So, and we've already been talking for an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Pretty long. So yeah, Kill la Kill, obviously the best one out of those.
Yeah, and maybe just doesn't need that much to talk about because it's. Yeah. I think everyone knows at this point that it's great.
Right.
Like all I'll tell you is you should definitely go look up the OST. Like look up all the character songs.
Yeah.
Because each time you hear one, you're like, yeah. You'll be like, fuck yeah. And then some of them, you're like I could just put this on my playlist.
Yeah.
Like this is fucking solid music.
Right.
And then that insert song, that big like fucking like loud rock sound piece that is the main song is so good.
Yeah.
Every time a big action piece like happens and it like blares that lady's voice, it just ooh.
So the thing that I liked most about the show was definitely the animation. Like the
for sure.
Style. And just how they did it was just so epic. They made and how they made like what seemed to be like a minor thing happening look way bigger than you would think it to be in your mind. Like, I'm trying to think of a particular battle or whatever that they had in front of the entire student body.
Yeah.
You know, and then like they'll be like, oh, and they just destroyed a whole student section, and then now there's bodies flying across the screen, just like people just like like, I thought that was pretty amazing, and like right from the beginning, it's like that. Like when the one dude, he's a 2-star maybe, something like that.
Which one? Boxer guy?
The bigger, like the big white haired guy. You know what I'm talking about?
Gamagori?
Yes.
He's 3-star. He's one of the 3-star students. He's one of the 4 big 3-stars.
Yeah. He like busts down the door.
Episode 1. Very start of it. Yep.
And it like show like just that angle that it shows him.
And he like comes out as like this humongous guy. Yep.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think that's why this show is clearly the best, because when you dissect it, it's clear that the whole thing was made with like love and intention. They knew what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
So the animation is like really inventive. So it's not just like clear-cut animation, because even like Gurren Lagann, it's like really bombastic, but it's just like kind of normal animation.
Yeah.
With some decent directing. But Kill la Kill, like every shot is like interesting. Right. Like they don't stick to like the traditional way of doing things with that first scene. They use like perspective and size and like angles just to like sell every fucking aspect of it.
Right.
Because that first 4 minutes of episode 1, in 2012 or whenever this came out, there's no way anybody dropped this show.
Right. No.
I can't. No, you would blow my mind if you said you dropped that show just after those first 4 minutes.
Right.
I could close out the tab and like, yep, I'm watching this whole show.
Right.
Because in 4 minutes, they sell absolutely everything you need.
Yeah.
It shows you its unique art style. It like clearly has good directing.
Yeah.
It was bombastic with its action.
Outstanding humor.
Yeah,
like,
the humor like
great.
nails it. It like shows its continuity because when he's running down the stairs and Gamagor is like flying down past the windows like you're just like, yep. Yeah.
I thought that
and then it does that perspective all like down the whole mountain to Ryuko on the bridge, looking like badass, and you're just like,
right,
sold.
What's Ryuko's friend's name?
Oh, I don't remember.
They're like
the ditzy one.
Yeah.
I don't recall. I'd have to look it up. It's right on the tip of my tongue. I definitely know it. I don't have to.
Good old Google.
I'm not looking it up. I'm just thinking really hard. Characters. Load. There we go. Oh, Mako. Yeah,
that's right.
I love Mako.
She's definitely the funniest character. I feel like
mm-hmm.
She has the funniest moments.
Every like, hey, let's cut the action real quick, and like she does that like. She's great. And she has all those like weird actions as she's like describing why,
right?
Like she loves toast or something,
right?
That's great. Yeah. It definitely has. It's definitely the best of all the shows.
Yeah,
because it has a lot more than one theme if you dig enough into it. And it does pretty good justice with all of them, but it has amazing animation that's you won't find anywhere else.
Right.
It's not just pretty animation. It's like they created a whole new style in one show with how they did things, you know. Because like I've heard people would say that it had a bad budget or it had bad animation because they would like move some of the people around like 2D sprites, you know?
Right.
So there were points that like that pink lady would almost always be moving around as a 2D character.
Right.
Or like this paper thin person.
Yeah.
But all that was intentional.
Right.
And if you're not, as long as you're just like not a closed-minded idiot, I think you know that. I feel like you should know that because it comes off fairly obvious that everything it's doing in terms of its perspective and using size to show dominance and someone's power and stuff like that is all.
It's all obvious.
Intentional.
Like what's her name? Like
Satsuki? Satsuki or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she's always on top of the
main chick,
big pyre. The like big spire or whatever, just like and talking down to the students and stuff like that.
I think it was like episode 2 or 3 or some. It was one of the early ones where they did a real quick battle. It wasn't even a battle. She just came down and started one, but then Ryuko was like, "I'm losing too much blood. I'm out of here."
Yeah.
But like it showed just her like coming up to slash, and then it used size. So like. The closer she got, like, she grew, like, fucking humongous.
Yeah.
Like, as, like, Ryoko's, like, here, like, showing, like, how big her presence is. So,
what do you think about their outfits?
You mean I don't remember what you call them. Titillating outfits.
Yeah.
When I first watched it, I thought it was weird. Like a year ago, when I was starting to watch anime a bit more. When I first watched it, I initially thought it was weird, but I quickly got over it, and now I'm totally like it doesn't bother me at all.
Right.
And I don't think it is not just because I'm used to it, because I've watched more anime, because I think where this show does it better than Darling in the Franxx, even though Darling might be intentionally trying to be funny about it, is it clearly has a point with its absurdity of like sexuality it presents.
Yeah, definitely.
Because one, it fits into the whole narrative, which outright like gives it like some points shaven off. It doesn't that way. Like it shouldn't bother you half as much as most other times you get fan service thrown in your face.
Right.
But when you dig into like themes alongside the main one of like clothes and nakedness and openness and all that jazz, it just, if you dig into it enough, like it all has a point. And the interesting thing is, if you're actually paying attention, the show makes fun of you for it.
Oh yeah.
That what's interesting, and that might have been the point the first time that I was like, all right, like I kind of got over it the first time I watched it, because it's like it's not to like episode 4 or 5, it's a little bit in. No, it's 3. There's not it takes a couple episodes until she truly unlocks the power of Senketsu, because she's too embarrassed by her risque outfit, and that's not allowing her to unlock her full potential, because she's not accepting of that transformation.
Right. She's not accepting. Yeah, she's self-conscious about it.
Right. Yeah.
So, not being self-conscious and being open to and comfortable with who you are and stuff like that.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Comfortable with who you are gives you the extra power.
Yeah. And so, like by making her not be able to unlock the full power until she's okay with it, directly be like, guys, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's directly. It's like telling us, like,
come on, don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's not a big deal, guys. Because if it's telling both of us at the same time that
right,
you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, that's it is a pretty interesting point.
Which is great. That's why that show is.
It was a great show.
Yeah,
great show.
Definitely. Like I think I have both that and Gurren as a 10, but it's definitely the best one.
So, in terms of ratings, I give Kill la Kill a 10.
Easily.
I give Little Witch a 9. I give Gurren Lagann probably a 9 as well.
Yeah.
And then Darling in the Franxx so far, I would give it an 8. But it usually it starts off low and gets higher, as from the beginning, when you first watch the show, and then till the end it usually gets high.
Because typically it sells itself at the end. So right now it's all like spectacle, and we're all wondering what might happen, but we won't know if it's good.
Gurren Lagann is is a 9, maybe not for me, maybe not a solid 9. But
maybe like an 8.8 or something like that.
Yeah.
I think I still like Gurren Lagann more than Little Witch.
Oh yeah.
So, like on Mal, I'm gonna leave them both at 10, just because that's just how I use ratings. But Kill la Kill is definitely the best. Like it deserves a 10.
Yeah.
It easily deserves a 10.
Yeah, solid 10.
Gurren Lagann's somewhere around 9.5 maybe. Well, Little Witch is like a solid 9.
Yeah.
Like, Little Witch was one of the best shows of last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for sure. And then I think you're right. Darling's about an 8. Maybe a 7 if you want to be super cynical.
Right.
if you want to be
with the expectation that will rise at the end of the show.
Because like
go a little lower
with if the first 5 episodes were all we were gonna get for some reason, then it's more around a 7.
Right.
Because characters aren't fleshed out. It's kind of a narrow-minded story at the moment, which I expect it to like smash that concept open.
Right.
But yeah, I think maybe a 7 with an easy build to an 8 or 9 with a solid 15 episodes to go.
Right.
But there's a couple more, but that's fine. Do you want me to quickly recap them for you? Or sell them to you?
No, you don't need to. Okay. We'll wrap it up.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, the other 2, Kisniver and Space Patrol Lulico, weren't nearly as big, but I think they're both good.
So I actually don't have. Well, I'm getting rid of my Netflix account.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Which only. No, they're both. Kill la Kill and Gurren Lagann are both on there,
they're
and Little
Witch.
Witch. But that's the other ones aren't.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that was a nice little.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to cut it.
Yeah, good place to stop.
Yeah.
Have a good one, guys.
We'll see you.